Hi, I'm Joe Heath.
I'm Toni Heath.
And this is the Watch-A-Thon of Rassilon.
Congratulations.
You win.
You've been selected to win a free iPod Nano.
Today we're going to be watching the second serial of the 8th season of Doctor Who, The Mind of Evil, which consists of 6 episodes that aired from January 30th, 1971 to March 6th, 1971. That spans 3 months.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's the end of January. But still, that's 3 months that this serial aired during. It's too many. Anyway, I'd like to give a special shout out to Matt Golden of mgoldentumbles.tumblr.com for getting us this episode.
Hey, thanks, Matt.
True facts! Oh, you know what we should talk about before we talk about the episode?
Is it Wholanta?
Yes!
I imagine that the people listening to this have probably already listened to the Wholanta episode.
But we didn't, in the Wholanta episode, we didn't say anything about actually being at Wholanta.
That is fair.
We mostly just talked about Dalek's invasion of Earth, which we saw at Wholanta. We hung around and we both were on panels, separate panels, not the same panel, but we were both on panels with Jamie Matheson, which was really cool. He's, if you don't know, he's a writer for New Who. He wrote Mummy on the Orient Express, Flatline, and he co-wrote The Girl Who Died, and he just did Oxygen.
Well, he didn't just write it. It just aired.
Yeah, it just aired.
It's been written for a long time.
He wrote Oxygen, and it recently aired. But we both got to be on panels with him, which was fun. It was
fun, yeah.
Your panel was about classic. Well,
not classic. It wasn't about classic. It was about B-list monsters.
And Doctor Who specifically.
Yes.
But that included a lot of classic Who monsters.
I took the opportunity to gush about the Yeti, and I think that's really the only thing that I contributed to that panel, but I feel okay about that.
It was interesting, though, because Jamie Matheson didn't really have a whole lot to add, because he hasn't actually seen a lot of classic Who. So you knew more than he did.
I mean, not really.
So you should write for Doctor Who.
I mean, okay.
That
seems like a terrible measure. We should not let you do the hirings, probably, for anything.
And I was on a panel about Chris Chibnall, which got wildly off topic.
It was mostly about Moffat.
Yeah, it was mostly about Moffat and Clara, bashing both of them, really. Some of it made sense, but some of it, I think, was... I don't know.
Harsh.
I was really upset about some people who were just hardcore against Clara. I like Clara, and they hated the last plot with her, which
I was really mad because the other panel I was on was the season so far. There was some discussion about Nardole and about how great he was, and I was like, I don't think he's done anything yet. I don't understand why he's there. And then of course he had a really
solid arc in
Oxygen, and I was like, well, fine.
It's the first episode he actually gets to go on the adventure, really. But it was a lot of fun. We saw, Colin Baker.
Mm-hmm. He's lovely.
Yes, he's intimidating a little bit. He's a big teddy bear, but, there was one bit where he just sort of walked towards you. Yes. And I was frightened for you.
You're frightened!
He said, what do you want me to do? Very deep, impressive voice. Which I was not expecting, because all I really know from him is, pictures of him and, maybe
he's got
clips.
That very silly coat, and that's what you think of him.
He's got that, little clown fro and the clown outfit, to be fair.
I was getting one-liners for the station that I work at. That's part of the reason why we got to go. I was telling my boss about it. This was the second time at Wholanta. He was there the first time. Getting one-liners from him, and he's like, yes, he has a very big personality, and you notice it right away, and you're just kind of like, oh, okay. Very, very sweet, but you notice. You notice when he's in the room.
He seems like someone who would be playing God on some British TV show. Just with that sort of commanding voice. We also met the woman who plays Perry, which I don't really know much about her, but she seems adorable.
They had a Women of Doctor Who panel, and it was great.
And it was her and the woman who plays Jackie Tyler, Rose's mom, who's also adorable. But they're both really cool.
Yeah, it was a blast. And if you talked to us at all or met us there, you're pretty great. We passed out a lot of business cards. So if, like, I shoved a business card in your hand and you actually, like, went to the URL and looked us up and are now listening to us,
hi!
You're the best. Thank you.
It was really fun. Everybody there was really cool. Go to Atlanta.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I don't know who's going to be there next year, but come. Anyway, it'll be fun. We'll probably be there again, too.
Yes.
We'll do another podcast.
We will most likely be there.
Not sure what we're going to be doing next year. I'm thinking maybe we do Scream of the Shalka, which is an unofficial Ninth Doctor reboot thing animation. That's my current plans. But if you guys have any other suggestions of what we could do,
I would like to just talk to people. I don't know.
I like the idea of a screening, though. That's fun. So let's talk about The Mind of Evil. Episode 1, The Removal of Evil.
Oh.
Or The Machine of Evil Sucking.
Gross.
Which one do you prefer?
I mean the gross one.
Good job. So we start with Bessie, which has Joe and the Doctor in it, and they're driving towards what Joe refers to as Dracula's castle, but it is actually a prison.
It does look very castle-like.
He says that it was like a medieval, they like, I don't know, what's the word, retrofitted? Is that the word?
Oh, I believe you. If you hadn't asked me, I'd have just been like, yeah.
That's what it means, right? When you turn the thing into another thing?
Again, I cannot confirm or deny this.
The castle regenerated into a prison. So they get there and they're like, ring the bell. And the Doctor's like, Joe, smile. And she's like, what? He's like, you're on camera. And then there's an adorable bit of just the Doctor making faces at the camera. He's waving.
So good at faces.
Acting like a total goober. And he gets caught in it too. Like the guard comes out and he's still just like wildly waving at the camera. And he's like, oh, hello. I just realized how stupid I look. But then they let them into the prison. Then we get some exposition scenes that are very hard to understand because it's in a very loud prison.
Yeah, the ideas of the prisoners are very unruly, but also at the same time, this dialogue's kind of important. Like, we're setting things up, and it's no idea. Mm-hmm. No idea what's said in most of these scenes.
Like, the audio levels are all at the same pitch, so it's just like the dialogue is at the same level as the yelling. So, I also want to mention, since we're talking about technical aspects, these 6 episodes, 5 of them, episodes 2 through 6, were recolorized. It was black and white, but it had like color. They had like color things for it, like embedded in it, so they could.
What does that mean?
I don't know. I was reading it. It's really weird. Like it had color information on it. The way the film had been printed or whatever, it was black and white, but it had the information for the color with it. So they could recolor it using some sort of method to put the color back into it.
I don't understand how any of this works.
I don't know how it works either. I was like, that's really cool. It made sort of sense. But the first episode, they didn't have that information on it, so it was completely recolored manually.
Oh my gosh.
I think it was like every 5 frames or so, and then a computer would like guess, but the in-betweens. But it was like something like 7,000 hand-colored frames. Something like that.
Wow.
I didn't notice. Actually, I did notice a little bit. I mean, the color seems a little fuzzy here and there. Like, I didn't realize it was the color as we were watching. I was just like, something looks weird. Like, it was like things glue a little bit. Glowed? Glue? Glowed? Glowed. Glue is a thing you put things together with. Like, there was like red, like twinkly bits all over the place.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
So,
I thought it was just normal video weirdness, stuff being old.
They did a good job, though. At least,
yeah.
I mean,
a lot of times you see things that have been colored and it all looks like vaguely pale. Everything's like slightly pastel.
Yeah, it's like very like airbrushed looking almost. But yeah, they did a good job here. I think like part of it is like it's using the black and white. They had that color information for like most of the episodes.
That's so
weird. I don't understand what that
weird.
means. That's cool though.
Oh, yeah, like listening to you say that, I'm like, oh, I thought I understood how this stuff worked. And clearly I am missing something.
I wonder if that covered up any like really terrible chroma, like color separation overlay stuff. Yeah. They just fixed it in post because they could. But anyway, in the loud prison, we go into a cell and they take this one prisoner, this very big guy. They forcefully take him away out of this cell and they're going to do an experiment on him. A demonstration, which the Doctor and Joe are going to be present at. And basically, the demonstration is, hey, this is a machine what sucks evil at you.
My favorite thing about the machine is that, like, the Doctor's there to watch this demonstration. Because he's like, whatever this is, it's messed up. he's there to be skeptical and grumpy. So he's asking all these questions about the machine, and he's like, well, what happens when it gets full? And the scientist whose project it is like, well, we have a meter on it, and it's only like 60% full. Because he said, what happens, it like takes all the evil out.
Yeah, he's like, so you're basically storing all these evil thoughts and impulses.
Because he says, well, where does it go? It just releases it, like, out into the world? And he's like, no, it just goes into this box. So it takes all the evil impulses, stores it in this box. So what happens when the box gets full? He's like, it's only at, like, 60%. Which I love the idea that they have a meter that they've designed that measures how full the box is.
Of evil. To be fair, that's not really, like, saying what you do with it once it's full. That's just saying it's not full.
It's not full yet. We don't actually have and 60% is, like, significantly full.
That's over halfway.
When you're at, like, 60%, you're like, alright, what are we gonna do now?
Time to delete some files, you know?
If you're at 60% full and you don't know how you're gonna empty it out yet, you've got a problem.
You said the doctor was asking questions. Not really. He was openly just riffing on the dude's presentation, much to the annoyance of the guy.
That is a fair point. He wasn't there like, what about this? Have you considered this? He was just like, that's dumb. That's not true. That's not how any of this works.
Like, the doctor will say something and he'll just turn to Joe and be like, idiot. He's like, it's completely infallible, but they turn it on, which they hook up the prisoner to it.
Yeah.
They turn it on and he goes, ah! And gets the evil sucked out of him and then passes out.
And he basically has had too much evil sucked out of him, is kind of this guy's shtick. And,
like, it doesn't work because he's like, it's going to be relatively painless and it'll be fine, and then, like, it's not. It's like, it's okay, it happens sometimes, he's fine. He's fine.
He's fine. He's not dead, but he's become very childlike in nature. That's how they describe him. At one point, this was way, way later, but this is how everyone treats him from then on. He's just sort of sitting there, and the doctor just, like, gives him a pat. Like they're there, friend. Like, very condescending, like, it'll be alright, you're fine.
I kind of like that character. I don't feel like they did enough with him.
No, in fact, he falls out of it for a really long time, and by the time they bring him back, there's like a scene that he's just in for a real long time, and you're like, oh, they're just reminding you that he exists because he's super dead soon. That's all that's happening here.
I think they did do some interesting things with him, talking about the nature of good and evil, and I guess being neutral, and I don't know. There was some interesting stuff there that was not explored enough, but there was some stuff that was explored, which was interesting. For now, he's basically just in a hospital bed for, like, ever. But they're like, he's fine and blah, blah, blah. But cut back to the room and there's a dead guy there, just laying on the floor. A completely different guy. First they're like, oh, is it just shock from having witnessed this? Watched this thing? Because he's like, I guess he's like one of the journalists or something that was there.
And it scared him so bad he's dead now?
And then they're like, well, we need to examine the body, so... Which I'm going to just go ahead and jump ahead and tell you how he died. He died of rats. There's marks all over his body, and the doctor comes in and he's like, you should do, like, a test on him to see... Or, like, get his, like, files on his history and stuff. And then, like, he was terrified of... And the doctor goes, rats? It's like, yes, how did you know?
Because I'm the doctor. I know everything. That's what this era of Doctor Who is about. Me being right, even when I'm talking straight nonsense.
The machine
also, can I say how unnerving the idea that, like, your biggest fear is just on file? I looked it up.
He was scared of rats.
He was terrified of rats. So that's in his personal file. I don't want my deepest fear to be something that someone else can look up.
I just wonder, like, what would it be if the machine was turned on you? For me, would it be just like oh no, I just died from the fear of failure?
I'm not going to answer that question because I'm not about to sit here and tell a bunch of people what my biggest fear is.
I don't know how, like, fear of, like...
Of abstract concepts, like fear of rejection. To be fair, though...
How did that kill you?
The Master has kind of an abstract fear that's not lethal.
Oh, yeah, we'll get to that. I want to save that for when we get to it.
Alright, we'll get to it, but, like, a heads up.
Also, heads up, the Master's in this.
Yeah, which you were very surprised about. You're like,
I didn't know.
I didn't know he'd be back so soon. I thought he would, chill out for a little bit.
Alright, so before the rat thing happens, Joe mentions that there's the first ever World Peace Conference going down and the Brig's working on it. We meet a character who is Captain Chin Lee, who she is, I guess, a Chinese something or other. I don't know, some kind of official.
I do forget, like, her exact title, but she's some sort of official who's there to work at the peace talks.
There's some papers that have been stolen, and she thinks the Americans have done it.
Or at the very least, she thinks it's the brig's responsibility to figure it out. Because UNIT is there to, like, just work security.
It's also revealed later they're going to be transferring a missile.
But that's secret. Nobody at the peace talk knows this.
Are they just basically getting it out of the way because it's like, this would be bad?
It's, like, been decommissioned. Where it's like, these have been outlawed, so we're getting rid of it. They just so happen to be transporting it at the same time as the peace talks.
So we were initially like, oh, no. We were afraid because there is, you know...
Well, you were afraid, and I was like, hey, she's, first of all... actually Asian.
Yes.
She's not a white person in yellow face. Like, she walks in there very confidently and tells the brig what's what, and I was like, well, okay. You know, she's not very passive and submissive, as, you know, is sometimes the stereotype that occurs. I said the words, that's probably some of the most positive representation we've had in a while, and then...
She leaves, and then Yates goes, what a dolly, or something to that effect. Calls her a dolly.
Yes.
Which is just...
It's like,
Which, I mean, to be fair, isn't necessarily...
It's not the worst thing in the world.
No, it's not.
We're not being like, oh, that's awful. It's just that I was like, oh, hey.
Look at this positive representation.
This seemed pretty positive. And then it was like kind of immediately undercut by
the heroes of the show.
Yes.
To be fair, though, it's UNIT. They're kind of morally...
That's true. You're supposed to love UNIT while also being like, please stop. UNIT is like kind of your asshole friend. Where like you're friends with them, but like when you introduce them to your other friends, you're like, okay, listen, like you have to like prep them first.
Right.
Like they're gonna say some things. They're gonna try to like blow up some shit without talking about it first. And
yeah, but like, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think it's portraying what they did in a positive light.
We're not sitting here being like, oh, this is...
That being said, there will be some racism coming up.
The worst. But it did undercut my, like, hey!
But then she goes to a playground.
Yeah, I don't know
that's across
why.
the street from UNIT.
Here's the thing about the playground. It just happens to be, like, across the street, and that's whatever. But there's so many shots of it that are for so long that I thought it was important.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not. It just happens to be what's outside the peace conference. We just see it for a long time. I don't know if it was, like, it was actually, like, a sound thing. It was like, we keep hearing these kids. Do we need to, like, see them? I don't know. It was odd.
Shinley goes to this playground. She has the papers that have been stolen, and she sets them on fire. But then she goes, and like she has like a thing behind her ear.
Which is clearly some kind of mind control thing.
So she's evil, but not evil.
Which is like a nice reveal of like, just kidding, she's evil. Just kidding, she's being mind controlled. Like, oh, okay. Alright, I'm up to speed now.
Oh, I want to go back real quick.
Okay.
Because we just now got to the scene where the guy died of rats. When the doctor spouts off his theories, the one doctor, the actual doctor,
yes,
who's there is like, what? You know, you're not a scientist, you don't know anything. He's like, I've been a scientist for thousands, and then stops and then just storms off. Which thousands? No.
You're exaggerating at this point.
Yeah, that doesn't add up.
Although he's never been real consistent about his age, which I feel like is fair, right? Because I imagine once you get past like a couple hundred, you're just like, I don't know, I'm not counting anymore.
Also, how do you keep track when you're traveling through time all the time?
Exactly. What's a year?
Yeah, you don't go like, well, I spent 3 hours, here, 4 hours. You can't keep track of that shit. You're like, what time did I arrive in the Old West? I don't know. It was like noonish. So you'll definitely at least lose hours.
Especially when you add like space travel. Whose years?
Yeah,
Earth years?
True. Do you think he has maybe he just has like a watch that keeps track of his internal time?
I don't know.
Then it breaks once and he's just like, well, fuck it.
He's just been like lying about his age ever since. It's like 1,000 sounds good.
550. I don't know. It's time travel though. Like,
I do wonder if
now.
Time Lords maybe have
internal.
Yeah, like really, really good internal clocks. It's like that's a Time Lord thing.
So anyway, there's a scene, I don't remember, where Chin-Li is in the UNIT office. Don't really remember what it's about, but I do want to say, that office has like 50 fucking phones.
I didn't really think about it at the time, but you're not wrong.
50 is a bit of an exaggeration, but I gotta say, there's at least 4.
Yes.
Which is too many.
To be fair, one of them's red, and I feel like...
That's the special phone.
Yeah, you need one bright red phone that's like a
Batman?
Emergency line. Yeah. Then
Or the
another
president.
one, like your regular line, makes sense.
A second line, maybe. But 4 phones?
Too many. Anyway.
The Chinese delegate has died. I think Brig thinks it's Chinley. Which I think it is Chinley.
It is. Because she's the one who calls it in. She calls it in, and she's like, it just happened. And then I guess they put the timeline together, and it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and she's confused, too. Because
she can't remember having done it. Because of the mind control.
And at this point, we're like, what does this have to do with this mind
Prison.
of evil thing? Which I'm going to start calling the mind of evil thing Mo.
Oh, I like it.
Which, by the way, it's just like a little box with a tube thing on top of it.
Yeah,
like
and some lights. It blinks a little bit.
It's just like a boom box with a rounded bullet-shaped tube on the top. And we're going to call it Mo. The guy who was doing the presentation is, like, trying to fix Mo, because it did that thing to the prisoner. And the machine goes on. Mo turns on. Suddenly the guy's like, and then, like, overlay waves, like, water over him, and he just starts swimming, and he drowns.
I was gonna say, he doesn't start swimming.
Well, he tries. He's trying to swim. He, like, does the arm motions. I just realized you guys can't see me doing this. I'm going whoosh whoosh with my hands. Then, like, yeah, he falls over dead. He does. He drowns.
Which, okay, so, by the way, I think, like, 1 or 2 more people are killed this way, where, like, the machine, which is collecting all the evil, 60% full of evil, seems to be killing people with, like, their biggest fear. This specific aspect of Mo stops being important in, like, 2 to 3 episodes.
Like, I mean, what does it do? Does it's supposed to eat your evil.
Yes.
It feeds off the evil. But why does it give you your biggest fears? That doesn't entirely make sense.
It does not. Yeah, though it doesn't, like, attack you by sucking out all your evil, because that's not scary. It's like, that's kind of helpful. It attacks you by, like, scaring you to death. Although, I should mention, it's not just that, like, you get so scared that you die, or revert into a caveman or something like that. The person who was afraid of rats was, like, actually attacked by rats. They have, like, claw marks. The person who drowned has water in their lungs.
Yeah.
So it's not like they thought they were drowning and they were so scared they died, which is how I would have written it. Instead, they, like, actually physically drowned, which doesn't make any sense.
It's a manifestation of evil. Do you think, maybe that's it. It feeds off the evil and then projects it.
I guess.
It manifests the evil as a byproduct of chewing down on some grizzly bits. I don't know. It's Doctor Who.
Because Doctor Who, that's why.
Still don't know what this has to do with the Chinese people. The doctor says since this guy's drowned to death, he's going to work on the machine. And Joe's like, I'll help. And he's like, no, fuck you. I'm doing it alone. He's like a real dick. He's like, you don't know what you're doing. He's like a dick this whole he's been dickish lately.
He has been dickish
for, like,
lately.
no reason.
And it's not even just like he's been, like, dickish, and it's like, sometimes the Doctor's dickish. You couldn't say that that's not a part of his character.
But sometimes he's generally a dick in kind of an adorable way. Like, oh, you doctor. But now he's just being openly rude.
Or he's a dick and someone's like, hey, you're being a dick, and he's like, oh shit, you're right. Something's going on, and there's generally somebody there to call him out. And this is like he's being a dick, but you're supposed to be, like, on his side.
Yeah, and it doesn't feel right. I feel like he treats Joe in a way he'd never have treated Liz.
Which, by the way, when, like, Joe shows up, she's not a scientist, but she does have, like, all of these qualifications. She's not just some, random secretary. She's like a spy, isn't she?
Something like that.
She has all these...
She's capable.
Yeah. I mean, she lists them off when she first shows up.
She gets out of handcuffs.
And she is very... People have talked about how... I don't know if it hasn't, like, really happened yet at this point. Because we've gotten a lot of, like, heads up. They keep telling her, be dumber, be dumber, be dumber. She works her way out of situations. She's very capable at this point. I don't know if...
It stays that way?
Yeah, if they keep dumbing her down. Which is odd.
I feel like they haven't really dumbed the character down, though. They've just made the Doctor dickish.
I think that's what's so weird, is, like, they replaced Liz Shaw because, like, she was too smart. And that's what they said. She's too smart, she's not interesting. Like, no one wants to see somebody who's that smart. We need to replace... But, like, Jo, as she is now, isn't dumb. She's capable. She gets herself out of situations. She's not useless.
I'd say she's not as, like...
She's not a scientist.
Yeah, she's not as take charge, sort of get shit done like Liz was. She does feel more like assistant-ish.
She's not a scientifically minded, but that doesn't mean she doesn't show intelligence. I don't know, it seems weird because, like, I know that that's what happened, but it doesn't seem super like that's what they're doing. Like you said, it just seems like the doctor's being rude for no reason.
Yeah, because she's just a helper.
He's being condescending for no good reason, and that's the change that seems to have been made, and it's odd.
It rubbed me a little the wrong way sometimes. I mean, I still like 3, don't get me wrong. But occasionally it's like, maybe tone it down a little.
Right.
Don't be such a jerk. The doctor finds out some information about who made the machine, which I think is called the Keller machine, by the way.
Most better.
But it's like made by this guy and his Chinese assistant. You're immediately like, oh, Chin Li is the assistant?
It must be Chin Li, because
there's only one Chinese woman in the entire world?
At least in this story. But yeah, like, that is like a reveal of just like, oh yeah, he had his assistant with him. What did she look like? Oh, she was a Chinese woman. Da da da!
He said an attractive Chinese woman, by the way.
Yes, he did. They must be the same person.
Oh, also, like, the doctor has figured out that when Mo does its thing, riots happen. Which I don't know if it's, like, just affecting all the other prisoners. It doesn't super matter. It just means that the soundtrack gets really loud for a little bit.
The riots are just a thing. There's a lot of stuff established about Mo that aren't important.
Yeah.
Or don't make sense. So, like, when it's doing its thing, it's riling everybody up, but that doesn't make sense because it's like taking evil.
Maybe it's
away.
Bringing the evil to the
like surface for everybody who's around it.
Yeah.
Please don't make that noise again.
To the forefront,
which is fine and interesting, except that it's like used in like this scene, maybe another scene, and then kind of dropped.
Yeah, well, I mean, to be fair, they get rid of the prisoners at one point, so...
Yeah, it's just kind of an idea that's thrown out there. And there's a lot of that in this, I feel like. Of just like...
Here's an idea. Move on.
Right.
Which, I mean, it's not terrible.
No. It's not like it, it doesn't make sense or it's awful. It's just that a lot is established, I think...
That they don't really fully go into.
Yeah, without any pause as to, like, how it's pushing the story forward. Just... Here's a thing that the machine does.
To be fair, this is 6 episodes long, and you need some filler. This could have easily been 4 episodes. It actually feels like 2 different serials. The first half and the second half.
I actually kept thinking that it was 4.
So, another riot happens, though, and the doctor is examining Mo, and then he gets mind-swabbled. Like, it comes on, and he starts going, and pulling, those faces that he does so well with, like, his bulging eyes, and then he catches on fire, which is just fire overlaid over him. And that's the cliffhanger, is that he's being attacked by Mo and is set on fire. And that's the end of episode 1. We are now into episode 2, The Return of the Master. So Joe comes in and turns it off. End of cliffhanger. And the doctor says the reason that the fire was his fear is because he once saw a world go up in flames. Which we saw too. Which? Inferno.
Oh!
Which I didn't put that together until like recently.
I didn't either. But it's not just Inferno, it's like literally everyone dying. Yeah. And not being able to stop it. Oh man. It's sad.
That's some deep shit, yo. So they're like, we should destroy it, right? And I don't remember why they're like, maybe not.
Oh, he's not like in charge. It's like somebody else's project, and they're like, no, they have to convince the people who run the prison and all that it's dangerous enough to destroy.
Okay, 2 people have died.
Yeah, but there's always somebody who's like, it's fine!
Then Yates shows up and is like, yo, doctor, you gotta come with us to London for the whole...
We need you to move over to the B-plot for a minute, please.
The doctor disagrees, and he's like, well, no, you have to. It's orders and light. The doctor uses his Venusian karate on him, but goes anyway. He's like, all right, I guess you're right. Sorry I attacked you. And then, like, Benton has been keeping an eye on Chin Li because she's suspicious. And then she does a thing. She's somehow connected to Mo. I don't entirely understand this part. But she, like, brain swabbles Benton, and he passes out.
Oh, yeah, like, Mo is using her to attack Benton.
I'm thinking through the thing on her ear.
Through the mind control-y bit? Yeah. But it doesn't kill him.
No, he just falls down.
She doesn't attack him with fear until he dies.
He just sort of goes...
Which, by the way, was there any, like, strategic reason for the people that the machine killed in the beginning?
Well, no, because it's just the machine doing it.
That's just what it wants?
Yeah, because, I mean, that's part of the thing, is, like, the master is wanting to use it for his own nefarious purposes, and the doctor's like, you can't control this thing. He's like, oh, shit, you're right.
I feel like I've been given to understand that this is basically the plot we're getting with the master for a while now.
Probably.
That he...
Forever, you mean?
Then he's like, hey, doctor, look at my plan to take over the world. And the doctor's like, okay, the bad guy you partnered with is just going to turn on you and kill you. And then he's like, oh, shit, I think you're right. And, like, that's his story every time he shows up.
I think that's going to be the case.
All right. He doesn't learn.
No. He's the bad guy. Bad guys never learn.
I have a lot to say about the master, though.
Which we are about to get to him, by the way. There's this guy fiddling with wires, and he taps into unit, and he goes inside this tent, and he's, like, listening in on the phone call between, like, Brigg and Benton, like, I lost her. And, like, he pulls the mask off.
Which genuinely shocked you.
It did. I was like, holy shit, it's the master. I didn't think he'd be back for a while. Like, he was introduced in the last serial. I did not expect him to come back so soon.
I am curious, at this point, about his motivation as it's being written. I mean, like, as it was being written then. Because I have thoughts about it. We should say what happens next. I will talk about it at the end of this episode.
Okay, so...
No, at the end of episode 3.
So the doctor is helping the Brig, and they're going to go talk to the new Chinese delegate, and the doctor speaks his language, and is charming as fuck, and the Brig doesn't get to do anything because he's an ignorant asshole.
Wait, yeah. So here's the thing that I kind of liked about this scene, is like, and I can't remember, the doctor said where he's from. Mm-hmm. He's like, the delegate, is he from here? And he's
like, no, it's like China.
He's Chinese. And the doctor's like, this guy doesn't know that China's huge. But yeah, it's like, I don't know, I really like the scene of, like, not just that the doctor, is running around getting to be smarter than everyone else and the Brig's made to feel stupid, but specifically, the thing that he's doing that's better is being, like, culturally aware and sensitive, and I kind of appreciated that, coming from a show that has frequently been insensitive.
Yeah, and again, they cast it seemed like an actual Chinese person and not a white dude. So, kudos again. And it's like, it's not they're not doing anything gross.
But, like, the whole point of the scene is, like, look how smart the doctor is. He's aware. And cool, I'm behind that.
And it's like, very specifically making the Brig look foolish because he doesn't care. Because he's like, I don't care, I don't give a shit, I want the information I want. And, like, he just doesn't get it because he's an asshole, basically.
Not he's an asshole, he's just unaware. Yeah. He's just...
Well, no, I mean, he is a little specifically sort of just dismissive of
That's
just,
true.
Like, them in general. So, he was in on that whole Dolly bullshit. So, and he's like, he was dismissive of Chin Li just in general, just from the beginning. And I think they're, like, saying that's not a cool thing. So, and look, now he's an idiot and not getting what he wants because he's an idiot. Meanwhile, the prisoner guy has woken up and he has amnesia. And there's this whole, is he an idiot or a saint thing? Because he's just all good now.
So good. He has no evil impulses whatsoever.
But mostly that's just construed as him going, there was loud noises. What's going on? I came to check it out. And that's it. He just sort of bumbles around. They bring a new prisoner in. They put him in the cell that the now reformed prisoner, his name's Barnum, by the way. There's a guy that's cleaning his cell to prepare for the new prisoner, and he hides a gun under the pillow. So the new prisoner comes in and takes the gun and escapes. He basically sort of is like taking over the prison. We later find out for the master.
I don't think he's doing it for the master to begin with.
No?
Yeah, there's a scene where he has to be, like, convinced.
Oh.
Where the master's like, oh, by the way, like, you work for me.
This new prisoner, by the way, his name is Mailer. He sort of becomes important later on.
Not for a while, though.
The doctor thinks there's a connection between Mo and the Chinese delegate's death. Because he's the doctor, serial.
And he's the smartest, and he was able to deduce that by being the best.
Then this is when we find out about the rocket, the missile, that's going to be dumped into the ocean?
That's how you dispose of missiles.
Just dump it in the ocean?
I don't know. I sure hope it's more than that.
Which we see, like, Benton picking it up, like, next to, like, the river or whatever, the ocean or whatever, and it's just a painting? It's like a painted backdrop.
They're standing in front of a painting of a missile.
In the water, too. Like, it's not moving. I was
You
like...
gotta do what you gotta do, man.
It was really bad. That's all I'm saying. Doctor says Chinley is the link between...
Just be glad that it wasn't green screen.
It's color separation overlay.
I was just really trying to avoid saying that, to be honest.
Chinley joins the master in a limo, or just a nice car, I don't remember. And the master tells her to kill the American delegate. So she goes to his hotel.
Was this guy actually American?
I'm not sure. It sounded like sometimes he was being a little too American.
Oh, when like people over-enunciate
Yeah.
when they're trying to be American.
Yes, I am very American. That sort of voice.
Wait, I need some more of your somebody else doing an American accent voice.
Why?
Because it's fun.
Okay, you just oversay things very clearly, like a television announcer. What is going on in here? She goes up to his hotel room and then turns into a fucking dragon?
This happens! And you're like, it's the machine. That guy's just really afraid of dragons. The American delegate's biggest fear is dragons.
It's my biggest fear.
Because that's what makes sense.
Yeah, but
that she physically transformed into a dragon, which is what happened.
No, the doctor says it's a shared hallucination. So she appeared to turn into a dragon to everyone in the area.
Including her?
Probably.
That doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. Also, it's kind of racist. Let's be honest. The
Maybe
Chinese
the
person
Chinese
turned
delegate comes
into
in
a dragon.
and was like, it's the monster of my people. He has some line like that. And it's like, it's a dragon. Like, I know, there's a lot of dragons in Chinese culture and stuff, but like, also, I don't know, it was set in a...
It's just dragons.
It's just dragons. We know what dragons are.
Yeah, and it just seems like the writer's like, there's Chinese people, they turned into a dragon, that'd be great. I'm like, no, maybe don't.
It's not how, like, Mo has acted before. It's weird that if it's a shared hallucination, why is it based around one specific person? They all had a hallucination that she turned into a dragon. Why does it have, like, why don't they all just see a dragon?
I don't know.
It doesn't make sense. That's all. I'm done.
So that was the end of episode 2, is she turns into a dragon. And episode 3, which I have titled, Chinley is the dragon. Because we weren't sure. We were like, is he just seeing the dragon and Chinley's there? And it wasn't until we watched this episode they were like, no, wait, Chinley is the dragon.
But also it's just a hallucination. But also the hallucination is actually dangerous and can kill you.
It doesn't kill the guy, though, because the doctor and everybody shows up, but he does pass out. And the doctor fills his neck and goes, he had acute shock, which he gathered from just fondling his neck.
To be fair, this is something that doctors in general do. There's much later on in the serial where a doctor, the actual medical doctor, is checking out the doctor who is, like, passed out. And he's, like, got a stethoscope and is like, he's suffered physical and mental trauma. And I'm like, you can tell that through your stethoscope? That he suffered mental trauma? That's impressive.
It's Doctor Who. Do you remember that one episode where the doctor just mixed a whole bunch of medicine together and threw it on people?
Yeah. That's how chemical reactions work, friends.
The doctor talks to Chinley as she wakes, speaks Cantonese, which I'm hoping that's...
Cantonese, thank you.
Well, no,
I couldn't remember...
This is different than the language he was speaking earlier.
Yeah, but I could not remember.
I hope he's speaking the actual words and not just gibberish. I don't know for sure, because I don't speak
Because you don't speak Cantonese?
Yeah. So, if you're listening out there, can you confirm or deny whether or not he was actually speaking in another language, or was he faking it?
How often does that happen?
A lot.
Really?
Yeah.
So they're just like, just speak some gibberish?
There's one movie where there was a whole Swedish scene that was just the scene in reverse. Reverse speaking does kind of sound like Swedish. You remember that scene? It had Peter Cushing in it.
Yeah.
The Doctor Who. I know there was another thing where I watched an episode of a show called Sledgehammer where this guy is like, says in Swedish, ladies, go to the bathroom or something like that. And they go off and the guy's like, you spoke perfect Swedish. And he's like, it's the only phrase I know. And I played it for Vince, and Vince is like, maybe he's saying that. It's not perfect Swedish. It sounds like someone who's reading it off of a thing and doesn't really know what it is. Joe and the doctor, not the doctor, but the
medical doctor.
The medical doctor are put in a cell together.
Whose name is?
Don't know. I know he was in the Ark.
Really?
Yeah.
Same character?
No.
They're really impressive. He's very old.
They keep taking the medical doctor away from Joe, but then, like, bringing him right back for no, like, there's no, I don't know why they keep doing that. They shuffle him around, but he always comes right back. They're like, we need to separate you two or whatever, and then, like, the very next scene, like, oh, we need you to come back because we need you to examine, like, the doctor and stuff like that. It happens, like, once or twice, and I'm like, what did this accomplish?
Why are you taking him out of the room?
Yeah, just leave him there. It'd be easier. So, Chinley and the doctor are, like, heading out of this hotel, and the driver of the car that the master was in sees this, and I guess warns the master.
Is he mind controlled, or?
You know, I don't know.
He's not, like, a very big character or anything, so I was just curious.
No clue.
He's in this scene and, like, maybe one other scene. He's not an important character.
So they're having difficulty dumping the rocket into the non-moving water.
Maybe it's because they couldn't figure out it was a painting.
Or also, like, that's littering. The master is listening into unit.
Yeah, he bugged him. What
So
are you confused about?
the doctor figures out that it's the master. I don't remember his logic. Because the mind control thing.
Yeah.
Is a thing he does. So he's
Chinley was mind controlled, and Joe's like, who could have done something like this? And the doctor's like, who do you fucking think?
And we find out that he is the guy what made Mo, apparently. He's Dr. Keller. And he comes into the prison. The prisoner that's taken over the prison is only taken over a portion of the prison. The warden, the head prison guy, has locked the prisoners into a portion of the prison. And then the doctor and the brig find out about this and they have to go back to the prison. That's pretty much the end of the, like, World Peace Conference thing. I don't think it's brought up ever again.
No, and here's the thing, because when we were talking about it earlier, I said this plot is weird and it kind of gets dropped, and you were like, no, it's there because of the missile. But you can do the missile without the peace conference.
It's true.
There is literally no reason why. It's there to fill out 3 episodes.
This is the master killing off these people, I guess. But once that gets foiled, he's like, oh, fuck, I still got the missile. Oh, but you know what? He's going to use the missile on the World Peace Conference.
Oh, that's true. Okay.
That's what it is. I forgot.
And, like, kill all the leaders and throw the world into
chaos.
Yes. The thing is, there's, you know...
No, it totally makes sense.
No, I'm just saying there's, like, 3 episodes before it becomes relevant again.
Yeah.
So, it's established by the time, like, you're like, oh, yeah, the peace conference. By the time it comes back in, like, the last episode, you're like...
kind of forgot about it.
I vaguely remember that happening a bunch of episodes ago.
It doesn't help that we took a big break between episode 3 and 4. But also, like, for people watching it originally, this was, like, 3 months!
If we couldn't remember it, and to be fair, neither one of us has a very good memory. We're both,
I'm Joe.
Yes. Hello. Nice to meet you.
You said you were forgetful, so I was being helpful. Continue, Toby.
All I'm saying is that if I was watching this over a series of months, when the peace conference came back up, I'd be like, wait, what? And I wouldn't be able to look it up on Wikipedia because the internet's not a thing yet. God, what a bummer. None of that's super important.
Probably, if you were watching it back in the day, though, might have a better memory because you just have to remember things.
Because you can't just Google shit you don't know.
Exactly. You have to keep that shit in your head.
Oh, man. I would not have survived well.
There is a brief period of time where Joe takes over the prison, too. Barnum, the newly reformed prisoner, comes in and is like, what's going on? And Joe uses that distraction to, like, take Mailer's gun and is like, I'm in charge now, and it's fucking awesome.
Again, very competent, very badass.
And then that's when the master comes into the prison and is like, I'm here to adjust the machine. He doesn't talk like that. Wouldn't that be great, though? If he just had a ridiculous voice.
For always, or just when he was in disguise?
Just when he's in disguise. Even though he doesn't need to. Like,
that would be great.
No one knows who he is, so he doesn't have to put on a voice, but it would be great. I've come to fix the machine.
I'm not the master.
And
that's his name.
I'm not the master. Not T Master. Not with a K.
It's funny because it could happen.
He's the naughty master.
No.
But first, before he fucks with the machine, he wants to see Mailer, who has been recaptured at this point. And then he goes, yeah, you're right. This is when he talks to Mailer. He goes in the cell with Mailer and he's like, hey, let's be buds and take over this prison. And he's like, I just did that. And he's like, well, let's do it again. And he gives him like some gas bomb things. They gas the guards, they shoot people, and they take over the prison again. And they fuck up the communications too. So, which the doctor and the brig arrive at this point, and the doctor is very unhappy that no one's letting him in. He's like impatiently honking his horn. And then he's like talking about how he hates television. Which I think he's talking about like the camera filming him and stuff. And he's like, television? That's not really television. It's a security camera.
I don't know if he was talking about, like, the security camera, or if he was just being, like, a grumpy old man and talking about, like, any new technology. Not that television's new, but just, like, being like, like someone being like, the internet.
He is old. He's thousands The doctor and the master meet. Da-da-dum. And the master's like, I control the prison now. And you're going to help me with this machine. And the doctor's like, hey, you know that machine's bad and it's going to fuck you up, right?
You know that the machine's just going to turn on you eventually, right? What? No. I'm not going to figure that out for another 2 episodes at least.
We find out that the master wants the missile to take out the peace conference, too. And at this point, the doctor flips the table. Literally. They're like in an office and he like flips the whole table at the master and just runs away.
Which is a ridiculous plan that totally works.
And the doctor's like trying to find Joe, but he gets caught by Mailer or the master, one of the two. And they handcuff the doctor into the Mo chair. The master puts the thing on his ear. That
the
was
little
on
mind control-y thing.
Which will amplify it. Because he's like, it can transmit, but it can also receive, I don't know, some bullshit like that. Like, it'll make it bad. It'll make it worse. Just go with us. The machine turns on, and like the doctor is attacked by previous Doctor Who monsters. Which, by the way, I looked it up, included sounds of the Daleks. I don't think it actually showed the Daleks.
I saw one Dalek.
Okay, there was a Dalek. Cybermen?
Not in like this cliffhanger, but when it cuts back to it.
Okay. It was Daleks, Cybermen, Ice Warriors, and the Zarbi.
The Zarbi?
I remember I was like, there's like a big bug-looking thing. That's the Zarbi.
The Doctor is afraid of the Zarbi and it's canon! That's amazing! The Doctor
is terrified.
Terrified of the Zarbi!
I think he's just terrified of the low-budget monsters.
No. One of the Doctor's biggest fear is being attacked by the Zarbi. I love this. I'm very pleased.
That is the end of episode 3, which I want to point out is pretty much the exact same cliffhanger as the first episode. Doctor gets attacked by Mo and sees shit. Guess what, you guys? It's gonna happen again.
We can cliffhanger one more time.
The second episode was also Mo attacking someone. Not the Doctor, but someone else.
It's true. So here is what I want to talk about. I've said before that I feel like the Master just kind of showed up to give the Doctor something to do. And I feel like what is about to happen at the beginning of episode 4 really justifies this. So, like, that's the cliffhanger, right? Like, he is strapped to the chair and he is not doing well. And, like, episode 4 starts...
Which I've called the laugh of the Doctor.
Episode 4 starts and, like, the Doctor is passed out. He's done for. And, like, the Master is desperately trying to get back into the room, which he locked. He put, like, this big wooden bar on the door. Yeah.
Oh, I thought he was still in the room.
Well, he had to get back into the room.
That's a later episode.
Is it?
Later this episode. It turns on, and, like, it's attacking the Doctor, but it's also, like, attacking
everyone else?
Yeah, and, like, the Master's holding his head, and he has to turn the machine off.
Wait, so he straps the Doctor back in it again later?
No.
It's not that it's attacking everyone, that's the thing, that's what I'm saying. He turns it on, the Doctor passes out, and the Master's worried about the Doctor.
Yeah, like he gets a stethoscope.
It only starts hurting him as he's walking towards it to turn it off. He's walking towards it to turn it off.
Because it's doing too much damage
Because it's doing too much damage to the Doctor, and he is so worried. He's got the stethoscope, he checks his hearts, and only one of them is beating, and he looks so upset.
He starts smacking his chest.
He is terrified that he might have actually killed him.
He says that his plan, he's like, you're a Time Lord, I thought you'd be able to resist it, and I thought together we would control this machine. You would help me control this machine.
But that's what I'm saying. His plan isn't like, oh man, I'm going to kill the Doctor and take over Earth. His plan is, I'm going to get the Doctor
to help me.
And we're going to hang out and be friends again, and it's going to be awesome. And I'm going to convince him to do that by being evil? His whole plan has been like, and it was kind of last time too, was just to get the Doctor to help him. That's all he wants. Also, for some reason, he wants to, like, control the world.
I don't know why.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. He has, like, no motivation to, like, control the world. He's like, oh, yeah, and then I'll have a missile and I can rule the world and it'll be cool. But, like, I think the only reason why he's doing any of that is just to get the Doctor's attention at all. Like, he doesn't give a damn about ruling the world. He's just trying to get the Doctor to pay attention to him. And
look what I did!
And convince him to, like, work with him. It's weird and interesting as far as a bad guy goes. Because I said that kind of as a joke in the last one. His plan sucks. I think he really just showed up, to give the Doctor something to do. But in that episode, when they're like, oh, the Master's, stuck on Earth now, and isn't that bad? And the Doctor looks really excited. And then in this one, when, like, the Doctor actually dies, the Master's like, oh, no, oh, no, oh, no.
I mean, to be fair, he doesn't fully die.
He almost dies.
He almost dies, but he doesn't.
And the Master's very upset about it. I don't know if we're going to get this just, like, silly, I'm a villain and I'm evil because I am. Or if there's, like, a
motivation behind it.
Yeah, if there's more of a story here that's actually going to get told here in this era. Like, I know there's a lot of Master backstory stuff that's out there, like in later stuff and in novels and Big Finish. But I wonder how soon it's going to start. How long it's going to be just silly, just very evil for the sake of it because it's fun. And how soon it's going to be like, oh, they were friends, and here's all this backstory and what's happening. I'm curious because it seems like
there's already elements of it.
Yeah, there's later in this episode where they are working together, and it seems very natural, which should be weird because he's been running around trying to kill people and messing people up for the rest of the serial. But like they're working together, and it's just like, can you hand me that? Literally, there's like an episode, there's like a part where the doctor's like, hey, will you hand me this? And the master's just like, yep. Like, he says it like that.
Yep, he does. He says, yep.
Yep. And, like, it's very not a master thing, the way he says it. When that scene is happening, they have, like, a very easy friendship, and it makes sense while it's happening, and I don't know, I'm very interested in... There's so much of Doctor Who that's, like, how long does it become this thing? I know the Doctor's a Time Lord, but how long until, the writers know that he's a Time Lord when you're going back and watching Classic Who this way? And so I'm very, very interested in what the relationship is between the two of them as it was conceived when these episodes were airing, and how long does it take to become what it is now. I don't know when more will be revealed either. Yeah, we got no way to find out but to keep watching. We will find out. We'll get there. Yeah, anyway. That's my catchphrase. We'll get there. Or the Master does bring the Doctor back to life and's like, help me. And the Doctor's like, no. And he's like, help me or I'll put Joe in the machine. And the Doctor's like, alright, fine. But I need a break. Because I'm tired and this thing... I died. Literally almost died. So he gets put back in the cell with Joe. Joe's like, please send some help in here for the Doctor because he's not doing great. But the Master goes back to the machine and the machine turns on again. Well, I think actually he's like monologuing, talking to the machine. Like, I'm the master of you. You don't control me and I'll... And it like starts attacking him. What he sees is a giant floating apparition of the Doctor laughing at him. The Doctor gets put in the thing, and, like, his biggest fear is, like, watching the world burn and not being able to do anything to stop it. And the Zarbi. And the Zarbi. The Master's biggest fear is just being laughed at. Like, by the Doctor specifically. By the Doctor specifically, but come on, man. Like, you have nothing else going on in your life? See, his biggest fear is disappointing the Doctor. The Doctor looking down on him, laughing. That's when he leaves the room and locks it in. And he's like, starve to death on nothing, you dumb machine. That's how he can't turn it off. So he just locks it in the room. Is like, it'll starve. Then you'll do what I say. The medical doctor checks the Doctor, gives some medicine, which the Doctor does not take. He says it's the wrong metabolism. It might kill him. And then he lays back in bed, and then he fucking regenerates into the Master. There's a weird transition where it, like, fades real quick. Like brightness, yeah. Yeah, transition between him and the Master, and, like, they're in the same position. And it looked like he regenerated into the Master. It was an odd choice. And then at this point, it's the Master puts on a slideshow for Mailer. Is like, hey, this is what we're gonna do. See, there's a missile. We're gonna steal it. You didn't actually have to see a picture of the missile, but I had this PowerPoint all set up anyway. Then the Doctor's still sick, and he wants some breakfast. They're going to get him some breakfast. And then they shut the door, and then they're like, ha! I'm not really sick. I'm better now. This is all part of our clever breakfast plan. They come back in with the breakfast, and Joe just slams it into the guard's face, and then the Doctor grabs the pan and smacks it over the head of another guard. When I say guards, they're prisoners, who are now guards. And they rush out. Joe's like, so we're gonna leave, right? And he's like, no, they'd expect us to escape right now. We get caught. We're just gonna hang around and we gotta destroy that machine anyway. Gotta destroy Mo. But they just basically hang out in the Master's office for a little while, which is the Warden's office, I guess. And then they see the Master's, evil plans slideshow. And then he's just left lying around. The plan is, by the way, that Mailer and his men are going to ambush Unit and steal the rocket, which is what happens. So a shootout happens. They take the missile. Yates gets shot. Then he gets up and he's like, first he's like, oh, I got shot. And he's like walking around and then he's just fine. He's like, he gets on a motorcycle. He chases him down. I don't understand what happens. Maybe they were rubber bullets?
Yeah, the bad guys used rubber bullets. That makes no sense. Okay. Benton also gets hurt, you guys. He has like
in the head.
A head wound.
He's really cute for the rest of the episode.
Yeah, because there's a bit where they're like going on a mission, and Benton's like, "I'll do it," and he's like, "Yeah, you haven't really recovered enough," and he's like, "I'm fine," and like Briggs like proud of him. It's adorable. I gotta do my duty, sort of thing. But like not as manly as I made it sound. It was like more just adorable.
Yeah.
But like Yates follows them. They take the missile to this barn in the middle of nowhere, and he hides in like bushes that are not bushes. He's very clearly visible. But then he gets on his bike again. They see him. He tries to drive away, and they shoot him again. And he falls off the bike, and the bike crashes into like a big pile of pallets that like explode. And then they capture Yates. And then they sort of connect that has some... Benton says that he saw the van that, like, ambushed him.
It was a big prison van.
So they're, like, putting pieces together, like, they must have taken the missile to the prison. Which isn't true, by the way, but that's what they think. And it's at this point that the doctor reveals that Mo has an alien inside of it that eats evil, and he knows about it.
And when Joe says the doctor reveals, that is literally how it happens. The doctor is just like...
We gotta go take care of it. There's an alien inside of it.
It eats evil. Oh, okay.
Alright. And then they're watching out the window, and the master leaves, and Joe's like, "Time to escape?" And the doctor's like, "No, we still have to destroy the alien thing." And then Joe's like, "Yeah, right, obviously." And then like hands him a gun, and he's like, "No, I don't do that. I don't do that shit.
I don't do guns. Thank you very much."
And then we cut back to the machine that they're about to go to. There's just a very wavy filter put on it. Like, not on the machine, like the entire picture. Where it waves at the corner, like the edges of the screen, there's just blackness because they didn't like zoom in a little bit, so there was no, to like take care of, I guess, what the bleed, I guess you'd call it. Mm-hmm. So it's a very cheap, crappy effect. But we're like, what is happening? And then it disappears and reappears outside of the room that the master locked it in.
So it can teleport now.
And then it kills a guy.
Not with fear, by the way.
With like gold static. I know. It just goes, psh, and then the guy falls over dead. And then it just goes back into the room. The doctor and Joe rush into the room, which is like destroyed at this point because the room is kind of a mess. Mailer comes in and catches them. But then, like, the machine starts attacking them, and Mailer runs off. And then the machine is, like, Joe and the doctor are both holding their head, going, ah.
That's the cliffhanger. Again.
The same cliffhanger. This time Joe's there. That's the end of episode 4. We are now into episode 5, which I have called Attack of the Fake Brain, or the Trojan Van.
Oh, Trojan Van's better.
They're being attacked, and then it just disappears.
It stops.
Wavy filters out and goes away, and they're like, why did it do that? And the doctor's like, what it does is it feeds on evil, so it probably went after Mailer because he's more evil than us, and we're not evil. Like, okay.
That's fine.
I guess. That's a bit of a cop-out, but okay. And this is when Barnum shows back up and is like, what's going on? I heard loud noises, and then just sort of tags along for a while. But the doctor and Joe hear a helicopter, and they go outside, and it's the brig in it, and they try to wave it down, and but they're caught by one of the prisoner guards. Not one of the guards, one of the prisoners who's pretending to be a guard. Or is it... You know what I'm trying to say. It's not a actual guard.
It's one of the bad guys.
Yes. Barnum, like, goes off on him, too. Like, starts freaking out and, like, attacks. And, like, the doctor has to basically stop him from killing the guy. So I guess there's, like, remnants of who he is still left in there. Again, this does not really get explored. But I was like, ooh, are they about to do something with this?
No.
So, the master is at the missile barn, checking in on the missile. And Mailer calls in and is like, hey, you should get back here. Or I'm going to, like, rat you out and get you caught and shit. And he's like, all right, I'll be right there. But before he does, he, like, questions Yates, which Yates is, like, passed out. And the master goes over to him and he's like, all right, you can stop pretending to be passed out now. And Yates wakes up.
Oh, man, this scene's great.
And Yates is like, why am I here? And, like, the master is like, oh, I'm just going to keep you as a hostage, obviously.
I think what he actually says is, the master's like, I'm sure you're wondering, why you're still alive. And Yates is just like, this crossed my mind, yeah. Like, the just calmness with which this conversation is had on both sides is delightful.
Yeah. I'm still not, like, super, like, into Yates, I guess. Like,
I really liked him here.
I liked him here, yeah. He still hasn't made, like, a huge impression on me, though. Like, I immediately like Benton. But this
Yates,
guy,
you're like, oh yeah, and Yates is here.
He hasn't really done anything distinctive enough to make me like him. But this scene is a good step. So the Doctor and Joe are brought to Mailer, and so is Barnum, but, like, Mailer doesn't want Barnum to be there. He's, like, freaked out by him, tells him to leave, so they take him away. I think he says, "Get that zombie out of here," which is rude. And then the Doctor and Joe basically are like, "Don't work with the Master. He will fuck your shit up. He will betray you." I don't think he really listens, or maybe he does a little bit. I don't remember. But they try to warn him. And then I think he's just like, whatever, go put them in their cells. So they get put in the cell. The Master arrives and goes to their cell and wants to talk to the Doctor. But the Doctor and Joe are busy playing checkers. And the Doctor's like, "Hold on a second," and then makes a move. He's like, "Haha." And then the Master tries to talk to him, and Joe goes like, "Hold on a second," and like jumps every single one of the Doctor's pieces, kicks his ass at checkers.
Which is another example of what I was saying. Like, I've been told, oh man, they really dumb her down, and it's like, so far they've been giving her these little moments of like...
Of course the Doctor is like an asshole too, and just like, well, you know, but I'm more used to playing
3D chess, or whatever he says.
More complicated games. The
problem with checkers
you beat me
is
it's childish.
It's just too simple.
But then the Master is like, "All right, now that you've finished this bit of nonsense, help me with my plan." And again, the Doctor says no. And then he's like, "I'll have Mailer shoot Joe.
Right now."
And he's like, "All right, fine, I'll help." Which we've had this scene already, like 3 times. We had it in the last serial.
We did.
Which is, "Help me? No. Well, I'll hurt Joe. All right, fine." Yates breaks free and escapes. I don't know, he just breaks his little wrists ropes.
Yes.
And attacks the dude and gets out. Cut back to the prison, and the Doctor has made his attack thing, which is a hoop. He's made a wire hoop.
A wire hoop that sparks come out of. It, like, catches on fire at some point.
Basically, he's going to lasso the machine, and it's going to...
confuse it.
It's going to basically be a fake brain. They're going to attack it with a fake brain, which is going to give off these, like, impulses and stuff or whatever that makes it think that it's a brain, and it's going to feed off that and, like, trap it, basically. And this is that scene you're talking about where, like, they're, like, working together.
They're working together, and it's so cute, and it makes so much sense, and, like, I don't know how to explain it. There's no, like, animosity while it's happening. They're just like, okay, now hand me that. Yep, here you go. Okay, now we're gonna do this. Oh, good idea. Yeah. That makes sense. And
yeah, like he like picks up the Master picks up like the box that it's plugged into, and he's like, "Oh, that's really good work." Yeah.
It feels like a friendship that's, you know, been there for a real long time. And it shouldn't. I mean, like, at this point in time, I feel like it shouldn't, but it does.
I like it.
I like it too.
It's a nice dynamic.
It's a good scene. So
yeah, the Doctor goes in there. He's trying to get close to it. It starts sending off. It's like, "Oh, look, here's all those enemies you fought. Look at that Zarbi." And it's catching on fire, and the Doctor's making his faces. And he throws the hoop over it, and it stops. Enemy defeated. End of serial. No. Now we still have an episode and a half left to go. So the Master...
basically says that'll hold it for a little while. Eventually it'll figure out what we've done, and this is a temporary solution.
Or I think the Doctor is like, and so what we need to do now is figure out how to take care of it and like stop it and blah blah blah. And the Master's like, "No, this is my point to like figure it out, but we're gonna take you back to your cell now." The Doctor's like, "Oh shit, we were working together."
It was
like,
nice.
Mailer points a gun at him. He's like, "All right, fine." Like, gets taken to his cell.
We were having a moment. You ruined it.
Also, when Mailer's taking him to his cell, he almost hits the Doctor over the head with his gun. But the Doctor catches him and he just sort of scratches his face with the gun.
Which is not proper gun safety, by the way. Don't do that.
They put him in the cell. Doctor is tired and lays down. He's like, "I've been through a lot of shit. I need to..." Because he just got attacked again, basically. He's kind of not feeling great. And Joe's like, "I am starving." And they're like, "Wait, we threw that food on the floor."
Wait, there's actually a scene where she's like, "Do you think they bring us food?" And the Doctor's like, "Probably not." Not after what happened last time. Because
and she's like, "Last time?
Oh man, there's still floor food."
And they eat the floor food. It's disgusting. It's
unsanitary. Really cute, actually.
It's a prison cell floor that they eat food off of.
They might not be getting more food for a while. And it's cute. They have this very cute scene where they're both... First of all, they're eating.
Yeah, you enjoy that.
I really enjoy watching other people eat on TV shows that I like. Don't know why. I think it's because you're not doing anything. You know, like, oh, we gotta solve this, we gotta fix this, we gotta do a thing. It's just like a moment of, anyway, I'm eating a sandwich, how are you? Like,
yeah. And the doctor starts telling this story.
He's telling, I've never been so mad at a cut in my life. He's telling this story about being in the Tower of London, and how does
Something
it
about
go?
potatoes, discovering
Yeah.
potatoes.
There's
Potatoes? I just said
potatoes?
potatoes.
Yeah, talking to somebody who discovered potatoes, and was just telling the story, and it, like, you know, fades off, and I was like, I want to hear that story, damn it!
That's like a very Doctor thing to do, too. Just brag about. Not really brag, but just sort of, like, name drop.
Yeah. I'm sure there's a big finish that exists somewhere.
That explains that whole story.
Yeah.
What we fade into is the brig drives up in the Trojan van.
They're so cute, by the way, when they're planning it. There's like all this, like, oh, here's how we're gonna get into the prison and stuff, and they're like, this is fun.
And that's when we have that scene with Benton, where he's like, yeah, I'm gonna join in.
Yeah.
The brig is in like this delivery outfit, and he does have a voice. He does have an accent.
He walks up in this delivery outfit, and Joe's like, please do a voice. Oh my god, please do a voice.
I have to be honest, it was not that great. I was hoping for something really ridiculous and over the top, but it was mostly just kind of believable and okay.
It was too good, is what you're saying.
It was. I was expecting like, oi, we got this shipment here, oi, 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 or something, you know, something really ridiculous and cheesy. But he's mostly just like, he does a voice, but it's mostly just like, hey, we got a delivery. Let us bring it in. It's more understated than I would have liked. Because if you're going to do that, you play that for comedy, right? You go full tilt. It's disappointing. Anyway, so while he's talking to the guy, 3 of the unit soldiers open the back door and just hide behind the van. And I'm like, what the fuck are they doing?
Why are you getting out from the van? That's not how the Trojan horse works.
And he's like, yeah, you guys can come in, and like waves the van in. And they're like walking behind the van. And I'm like, stay inside the fucking van. But like, what? It doesn't make any sense. Like, they're walking around the van, and then, like, when they get to the guard, they punch him and knock him out. But, like, wait till you're inside!
That's the whole point of being in the van!
So, but anyway, they do get to, like, the center, and instead of sneakily going around and taking over the prison, the brig pulls out a megaphone and is like, hey, we're taking over this prison, giving you some time to get your shit together.
It's like he's incapable of being sneaky.
They had this great sneaky plan and fucked it all up.
They were like, yeah, we're gonna do this, we're gonna be totally sneaky, only, like, the brig's just totally incapable of it. He knows nothing but gunfights and explosions. Which
is what happens, too. The megaphone gets shot out of his hand, and then he shoots the guy that shot it out of his hand, and then just a bunch of shootout happening. This is a high body count of just people. There's, like, one awkward shot where, like, guys going down, there's, like, the stairs to a doorway, and the guy's standing on the stairs, pointing his gun at the back of a guy who's shooting other people, and he doesn't see him. And then he, like, turns around and starts heading up the stairs, sees the guy, and then the guy shoots him.
It'd be dishonorable to shoot someone in the back.
Yeah, but it probably would have stopped them from shooting those other people. And Mailer takes the doctor and Joe hostage and is like, you're gonna help me get out of here. And don't try any funny business, or I don't need both of you to be hostages.
Yeah, I'll shoot one of you.
So they're going down these stairs, and
then Joe tries some funny business.
She does. She just falls back into him, and she's like, doctor, now. And it doesn't work. And Mailer's like, I told you no funny business, and then shoots the doctor.
And that's the end of the series.
No, it's the end of episode 5, which, okay.
And that's a new cliffhanger?
Well, to this serial. Someone pulling a gun on the doctor has happened at least 8 times so far. This specific doctor. But that's the end of episode 5. We're now into episode 6, which I've called The Missing Missile.
Oh.
But it turns out that wasn't Mailer shooting. It was the brig shooting Mailer. Which doesn't make sense with the camera angle, but okay. Because the gun was pointing down, but
it's fine.
The brig would have to be pointing up, and also in the other direction.
Nah, it's fine.
It's a trick. It's tricksy. I don't care for it. Trying to pull one over on me, Doctor Who. The doctor does not seem to be that happy that he got saved. He's like, can you arrive sometime before the nick of time?
Ever in your life? And the brig thinks that's hilarious.
He does.
He has a lot of really good just smirking this episode. Of just like the doctor being like pissed and the brig's just like, aw, he's so cute when he's mad.
The brig's like, well, where's the missile? It's here, right? And the doctor's like, yet another thing you're stupid about. It's not here. Oh, well, shoot.
Alright, dang.
Cut to the barn, and we see the missile coming out, and, which, you said a funny joke. The master nods at it, and then the missile comes out and, like, does its thing, and Tony's like, ah, yes, the nod-activated missile.
That is funny. Nice.
But, Yates has escaped, and had made it back to unit. So he calls in and says, I know where the missile is. So they're like, all right, let's go there then. Meanwhile, there's just a scene of the master, like, enjoying the controls of the missile. He's just smoking a cigar and touching buttons. I don't know what he was doing, but he was having fun.
Being evil.
But then the machine burns through the hoop because no one was keeping an eye on it.
Everyone kind of forgot that we were supposed to be taking care of that.
And it teleports away. And it's at this point that the brig, he's going to go do some stuff, and he's like, makes Benton the acting general. He's like, don't let this go to your head, basically.
Because he's sitting at the desk, and he's like,
I've got 5 phones.
Nice. Look at all these phones. They all belong to me.
It's a really cute scene, because they're just, like, smiling at each other and being like, aw, shucksy. It's fantastic. I love Benton and Brig. I kind of like Benton and Brig a little bit more than I do Brig and the Doctor. Is that weird?
No. Because right now, their relationship is very antagonistic.
Whereas Benton and Brig are just buddies.
Yeah, they're much cuter at this point in time. Which, not to say that them being antagonistic is not an interesting, enjoyable choice, by the way. Just
yeah.
Not as cute.
The Brig goes to talk to the Doctor. He's like, well, I'm gonna go
stop everything, save the day, catch you later.
Well, he's like, do you want to help? And he's like, no, I gotta stay and fight the monster machine. He's like, but the Brig's like, it'll probably be easy and to take care of this. And the Doctor's like, the master may not be so easily mopped up. And I just thought that was an interesting phrase. The Brig is trying to talk to the Doctor, and the Doctor is just off in his own world, like talking to himself about how he's going to take care of the mind of evil, how he's going to take care of Mo, and he's just like, and Brig's trying to talk to him, and like,
the Doctor's not having it, yeah.
Like, all right, fine, I'm just going to go take care of this missile thing. You do you. Wait, the thing hasn't teleported out of the room yet. It's still just, it was just burning through the hoop. Now it's like completely broke free. And destroys the entire room.
Oh, it goes berserk, yeah.
Which mostly just means the camera's going berserk.
Wait.
Which is just like, whoosh!
Okay,
whoosh.
question.
Yeah.
Did I see somebody duck out of frame at some point in time? Or did I just see something getting tossed?
Either is plausible.
Okay.
I had a hard time watching that scene because it was very
I was going to say,
nauseous.
it happened very quickly and I almost threw up, so I wasn't sure.
Say it was quickly. It lasted forever.
I mean, the specific...
Oh, the ducking thing? Yeah.
Yes. And I'm like, I don't know if I just saw something like fly or if I literally saw someone like toss something and duck out of shot.
That's very possible. Oh man, it was nauseous though. Like,
yes, it needed to calm down a little bit. Which all this like basically amounts to is that it had a tantrum.
Basically.
That it was like, oh, they tricked me! Ah! And then threw some shit.
Then it does disappear. And then it appears in front of a couple of the prisoners who are guards. But they go, oh no! And then it appears and kills them. But they said oh no before there was anything to oh no about. Then it disappears again. But then the Doctor has figured out how to defeat Mo, or whatever. He's written a thing on a piece of paper, and they go to take care of it. And of course, they just walk in, and it's like gone, and the place is destroyed. And they're like, oh no. And Joe's like, well, do you think you can do that coil thing again if we find it? And he's like, nah, probably not.
It's too smart for that.
Also, it would be boring to do the same thing over and over again. Be like ending a handful of these episodes on the cliffhanger of me having visions of things, being attacked by my fears, or having a gun pointed at me.
We were saying about the Doctor being afraid of the Zarbi. Isn't that the deal with what's the episode? The episode with the rooms with the fears in them. That's what's in his room.
Didn't they reveal what was in his room?
Yeah, but it's the Zarbi. Wait, what was in his room?
Wasn't it the crack?
Oh, yeah. No, it's the Zarbi.
It was something.
Sorry, that's not important and you can cut it out. I just really like the idea of him opening the door.
Somebody should do that.
One Zarbi.
Please edit together the scene of where he opens the door in the God Complex and just sees Zarbi. And he's like, of course.
Of course. Of course it's the Zarbi. It's always been the Zarbi.
That's amazing. But then it reappears in the room, to attack them. But then Barnum arrives, and it stops.
Because he's too good.
And Barnum starts to remember things. And he's like, oh, I gotta get out of here. And the doctor grabs him and is like, no. You can't leave. Because, like, once he starts leaving, the machine starts coming back on. And, like, pulls him close to it. And he's like, you sort of neutralize it because of reasons.
Okay, here's the thing that doesn't make sense. The creature that's inside that is Mo is what took away all of his evil impulses and made him the way that he is. I could understand it if maybe he was, like, naturally just very good and he was like, oh, somehow, like, all that goodness is, like, putting a damper on it or whatever. But I feel like it's the equivalent of, like, not being able to eat because there are bones in the room. Does that make sense?
It would be like if, like, disabling your prey, but then the way you disabled your prey disables you.
Yes.
It doesn't make a lick of sense. Not one lick.
Can I tell you that's a phrase I've only ever heard you use?
Lick of sense?
Yes. Is it a Southern thing?
Maybe. If you guys say lick of sense, please let us know. So, they open the machine, and it has an eye and some goop.
Oh, it's scary. It's gross looking. And also, good? Okay, wait, I didn't mean to sound so shocked.
No, it's evil, Toni. It's not good.
No.
You mean it looks good?
Yeah, it holds up.
I mean, it's just goop in an eyeball.
Fairly realistic looking eyeball. And I feel like it kind of swivels around. No?
I don't know if it swivels around.
Oh.
I think it's mostly just in goop.
Man, sometimes I
make it better in your head?
I do.
I honestly don't remember if it swivels. I haven't made...
I remember opening it, like it opened up and I was like, ugh! Like genuinely kind of like, ugh, gross, close it.
I didn't know what it was at first. I'm like, what are we oh, that's an eyeball. What is this?
Yeah, that means it was effective. That means it was good.
And the doctor also says it is nearly indestructible. Like, you'd have to hit it with, like, an atomic bomb or a bunch of electricity.
Which, okay, listen.
It's goop.
It's not that the doctor can't have, like, knowledge of things. I get it. He's an alien. He's a scientist. He's super smart. He knows things. But it's no fun. It's no fun to watch something where the main character just goes, it's this. Oh. Yeah. Why? Because.
Well, even so, like, just, I think it's dumb writing to be like, and it's completely indestructible. Just cause I said so.
I'm not against, there have been times where the doctor's just like, oh, it's this species, and it works this way, and that's fine, but I don't know, I've got to be able to help, I've got to be able to be, like, an active participant in this thing. This whole season has kind of been like that scene with Donna and the Daleks. Only not as fun. When she's the Dr. Donna.
Oh, yeah.
And she's just, what is that, in Journey's End? Mm-hmm. And she's just flipping switches. It's fun because it's Donna, and you're like, look at her go. She's so smart. Right. But, like, it's fun because it's coming out of a character thing. But, like, on its own, you're just kind of like, that's a little silly. Like, right. She's just spouting nonsense, and that saves the day. I'm okay with it because
it's earned.
Yeah, it's Donna having fun and having this character moment as part of her arc. Whereas, like, a lot of the season is just that without, like, fun character stuff.
Yeah. It's just the doctor being the smartest person in the room.
Yeah.
Which I think is, he can be. That's fine. But also, it's nice to also be trying to figure stuff out.
Yeah. It's less fun when you're just like, this is the plot because of this. And you're just like, okay.
We're being told what's happening instead of, figuring it out as we go.
Or watching it, yeah.
Also, there's another case of the brig not doing what the doctor says. Because he's like, they find out that the missile has an abort code thing.
Oh, and basically the brig leaves and is like, yeah, we've got this. Don't even worry about it. Like, it'll be easy. The missile has an abort code, and I think it basically blows up the missile. It blows it up in a way that will cause less damage than,
right,
aiming it at stuff and blowing it up.
Yeah, it's just going to blow up where it is, basically.
Yeah.
Instead of, like, firing it. And the doctor says not to do it, but he does it anyway. But the master's already, like, deactivated that aspect of it. So, it doesn't work.
And, like, when the brig goes to tell the doctor that, he's like, yeah, he's a scientist. Of course he's going to deactivate the abort thing. It's like one wire.
Don't be such an idiot, Brig. The master calls the doctor, which Ben answers the phone, and he's like, and the master's like, who the hell's this? And he's like, I'm an acting general. And he's like, oh, can I talk to the doctor? Who can I say is calling? Just say it's an old friend.
Which is stupid.
And Ben's just like, okay, hey doctor, this guy says he's a friend of yours?
And the doctor takes the phone like, hey, Master, I know it's you. Like, why are you playing games?
They talk about his plan, which the Doctor says, I will give you your circuit for your TARDIS if you give us the missile. And he's like, all right, sure.
Sounds like a fair deal, whatever.
Just do it. Don't have any unit people fucking shit up. Yeah, that'll work. We'll do that. The unit was going to attack the base, and the Doctor says, cancel that. And Briggs like, all right, but I have a backup plan. So then we have another scene of the Doctor and Jo arguing, and it's very annoying. I don't remember what, but then they realize they also have a plan.
I remember what it is. They were trying to figure out a plan, and Joe's like, what about this, and what about this? And the Doctor's like, no, you're dumb. All these ideas are stupid, and I hate you. And then he's like, wait a minute, what did you say? The machine? We have the machine? Oh, you're a genius.
And at this point, he's like, we can use the machine and Barnum to destroy the machine and defeat the Master.
Yes.
Which I was like, okay.
I don't see how, but alright.
Unit has mailed the Doctor the circuit, by the way. It's in like a little yellow manila like envelope thing. So they go and they meet the Master. They take the van. And there's a scene where Jo and Barnum are in the back of the van and she's like patting him on the shoulder and it's kind of cute. But it's also like, oh, he's about to die. That's the moment where I realized he was going to die.
Oh, the moment I realized when he was about to die was before this. He's just sitting in Benton's office, like, eating soup at the other end of his desk. Because, like, I think someone finds him and it's like, oh, we found him just, like, wandering around in, like, the medical thing. And he's like, lock him up. And Joe's like, no, don't lock him up. And she just, like, sits him there. And was like, I'm going to take care of him. And so, like, he's just sitting there at the desk eating soup while Benton, like, doesn't know who he is. Because he wasn't here for this plot. And he's just, like, very awkwardly watching this man eat soup. And, like, he's in the scene for a long time while, like, Benton is doing other things, just eating his soup. And I was like, he's been in this scene a long time for no reason. He's dead.
I only knew it once she was patting him in the van. It's like, he's not going to make it out of this. Here's what happens. They arrive. The Master's like, why are you in this van? And the Doctor's like, Bessie broke down. And the Master's like, Bessie? And the Doctor's like, my car. And he does, like...
The Jamie?
The Jamie wheel gesture. And the Master's like, well, if you don't give me my thing, I'll use my wheel thingy to blow you up, because my wheel thingy's a missile.
Which really, the way that the line is gives makes it sound like he's talking about his junk. He's like, well, and he doesn't say anything, he just does, like, the hand thing. It's like, is there, and it's bigger, and will blow you up.
All right. I didn't pick up on that. Good job. Meanwhile, Jo and Barnum have snuck out of the back of the van. They set down the Mind of Evil, and Barnum goes away from it, and it turns on and attacks the Master. Just the Master. Also,
because he's the most evil.
He's the most, I guess, yeah. And also, like, it fucks up Mo as well, because, like, it starts gooping out of the thing.
Because he's so evil.
He's so evil, it's overloading Mo?
Did they not say in the episode?
I don't know.
Wait, are you telling me?
I don't know. It, like, goops out of the thing. It's just out of it, like pink goo.
Yeah, he's just too evil, I guess.
I don't know. It doesn't make sense. The Doctor fiddles with the controls of the missile, and a helicopter lands. And they're like, we gotta get to the helicopter. But, like, they start running, but Barnum looks back and is like, oh, that guy's in trouble.
Yeah, he goes back to help the Master, because he's nice now, and he can't conceive that the Master isn't, I guess.
Or he's just gonna help anybody, whoever it is. Which, him doing that counteracts Mo.
So the Master can get away.
Which he gets in the van and immediately runs Barnum over.
Who was there to help him? How rude!
I get that you're trying to do, like, a heroic sacrifice or something, some sad death thing for him, but that's kind of shitty. And also, like, really fast paced and doesn't work until, like...
It doesn't work on an emotional level.
Also, like, the van was, like, 2 inches from him. I don't know how he, like, hit him so hard that he died. Like, I could see it maybe pushing him out of the way.
He should have been able to get up from that.
Yeah, and that dude's, he's a big dude, big strong dude. I don't think that velocity would have killed him. Anyway, they go in and check him and they're like, oh, he's dead. And then they're like, well, we gotta run away. And so they get in the helicopter and fly off. The Master has driven off in his van. And then the barn explodes. Cause he turned back on the abort button, basically. And Unit calls in and explodes the missile and then the barn explodes.
It's a pretty big explosion.
Then we get sort of a wrap-up scene, and Jo is sad about Barnum. The Doctor's like, well, I mean, the Master got away, but at least we still have his circuit. And he, like, checks his pockets, and he's like, oh, shit, I don't have the circuit. And then they get another phone call from an old friend, and it's the Master, and he's like, oh, yeah, I totally took that circuit.
I like the way he starts the conversation by being like, I just didn't want you to worry about me, so just a heads up, still alive.
And now I have a TARDIS.
Who knows where I'll go? By the way, enjoy your exile.
And, like, he hangs up, and, like, the Doctor's, like, upset that the Master now has a TARDIS and can get away and do whatever, but it mostly seems like he's annoyed. He's like, nah, I'm stuck on Earth. And then he turns to the brig and goes, with you.
And that just makes the brig laugh, and that's the end of the episode.
It's just the Doctor being an asshole. Stuck on Earth with you.
Which is the worst. And the brig's just like, you're Doctor. So cute when you're angry.
And that's it. That's the end of episode 6 and the end of The Mind of Evil. Final thoughts!
I kind of have like a bit of meta final thoughts.
Meta final thoughts, alright.
Well, okay, we had somebody recently who listened to an episode of our podcast who had not seen the episode. They were just listening to it because I think Chris Cherry actually made them.
Well, I don't think he made them.
Well, okay.
He just listened because Chris Cherry is on it, and he's Chris Cherry's friend.
Yes. But my point
Hi,
is...
Andrew.
His name is Andrew. That's who I'm talking about, yes. But my point is he said something, or he's like, I was listening to it, and I was like, man, this must have been like a really bad episode. They're really tearing into it. Until they got to the final thoughts, where we were like, anyway, this episode was great. And so, I don't know. I just thought that was, I've been thinking about it a lot, about how a lot of what we, like, go into and discuss about the episode was things that didn't quite work, and things that, we didn't like. And then we, when we go to talk about it as a whole, you're like, overall, all of these things were broken and didn't work, but it was fun to watch.
Right, and sometimes when we're, like, talking about things being cheesy and awful,
that's a plus.
We enjoy it, yeah.
Yeah, we're like, oh my god, that was cheesy and very bad. I was having so much fun. I was enjoying it very much. It hadn't really occurred to me before that, like, you could go through, like, a whole episode and be like, oh man, they must really, like, hate this show.
But then at the end we're like, no, it's great.
It was great. We loved it. I could see how that seems, like, inconsistent.
Well, so I know we've complained a lot about this serial, but did you enjoy it?
No.
No?
Okay, and here's the other thing. Sometimes you get an episode where you're like, yeah, that didn't really work overall, but I really like this scene, I really like this aspect, it sets this up. Even in an episode that, like, you really don't care for. Well, you mentioned the episode, but the one with all the he mixes all the medicine together. What's the episode?
It's the New Earth one.
Yes.
New Earth. I think it's just called New Earth.
New Earth?
I think. I could be wrong.
That resolution's a mess. Like, the plot's a mess. But it has the one scene of David Tennant being Cassandra.
Oh, right.
In the
That's
Doctor's.
the same.
That's the same episode. And that scene's great. That's what has, like, been on my mind. That, like, you, like, hear us, like, talk about it, and we remember the stuff of, like, oh, yeah, that didn't quite work, and oh, yeah, that wasn't very good. But even an episode like that, where overall, taken as a whole, you're like, yeah, look at all the stuff that didn't quite add up, didn't work the way it was supposed to. But it has that scene in it, and it has, that character moment in it. It's great. I don't know if I really thought I would have a better wrap-up here at the end.
So much like this serial. That
train just sort of stops.
So much like this serial, it didn't all wrap up at the end.
Oh, there you go. Nice. Nice. It's been on my mind since we had that conversation of, like, I wonder how much we get to the end of the podcast and people are like, oh, wait, you liked it?
Because I did like this serial.
Did you?
So, yeah. I mean, yeah, the whole plot doesn't entirely add up, but there's, like, a lot of interesting ideas. It does a lot of weird stuff, which is my favorite.
That is the other thing, is that a lot of times we're like, that didn't work, but they tried it, and that's great. Like, they had a bunch of weird ideas that didn't all meld into one cohesive whole, but watching them just throw those weird ideas out there is fun.
Yeah, like, we didn't talk about it, but during that first episode, the whole time I'm just like, I have no idea what's going on. I'm loving this.
Yeah. Anytime the show is doing something, like,
and to be
just
fair,
bonkers.
It mostly made sense, eventually. I mean, there's some stuff that's like, you think about it a little too hard, and you're like, wait a second. Like, the way that Mo works in general doesn't entirely make sense. But, like, there's a lot of stuff that's happening in that first episode, and you're just like, okay, what does this have to do with this? I don't understand anything that's happening. But then it all sort of does come together, so.
Yeah.
But I enjoy that not knowing thing. Like, I'm just like, this is weird. I'm down for this.
I will say, I feel like I don't have a lot to say about this serial in particular. Because one, it's like a plot that we just had. Everything I had to say, I said in the episode already. It's alright. It's like, it's not one of them that you'd be like, oh, you have to watch this one. And not every episode can be. You would?
I liked it. I think it could probably be cut down to 4 episodes, but I still think there's a lot of fun stuff going on. I like the, like, fear things. Like, the doctor laughing at the master is fantastic. I kind of enjoyed Unit a little more this time around.
That's true. They
other than their, like, gross Chin Lee stuff, but...
You're a little bit more on Unit's side than you have been, because it's an interesting dynamic.
I especially enjoyed the Benton Briggs stuff. And that Yates scene, Yates and the Master, was really good. The action is as ridiculous and awesome as it always is.
I will say that it's something I'm really excited about. I'm super ready to just see what this relationship is for, like, this era of the show. The
Master has a TARDIS now, by the way. Do you think we'll be seeing him again anytime soon?
Well, define soon.
I'm thinking, it's implied that he'll probably go away for a while. But I'm thinking he'll probably turn up next serial.
Do you really?
I think he's just going to be, like, main
in
cast.
Every serial?
I've got this feeling, yeah. I don't know.
I thought for sure they'd give him a rest for one serial and then just bring him back, like, the direct next serial.
Alright, so I'm saying next serial, you're saying the serial after.
Yes.
Alright, we'll see.
Alright.
We'll see who wins. Do we need to put money on it?
It's all the same money.
You're right. That's true. We're married. We need to put something on the line here.
Some sort of stakes?
Yeah.
Ooh, it should be a chore.
Whoever wins
has to put my laundry away.
If I win, you have to put your laundry away. If you win, I have to put your laundry away. Deal.
Wait, do you already know?
No, I don't.
Okay,
I'm just hoping. What if neither one of us is right?
Then the laundry will stay in my closet forever like it always has been.
Alright, we shook on it, you guys. You guys have to hold us to it. Well, mostly her.
Mostly me. If I lose, there's a very large chance that I will just keep not doing it.
But that's it.
There you go. Stakes.
Stakes and the Mind of Evil, or as we like to call him, Mo. If you like this episode, check out more on Watch-A-Rassilon.com and be sure to rate and comment on our iTunes. Do it, you guys. It's awesome.
Please, 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 please. It's one of the things that will help us out the most.
If you'd like to help us out even more, go to WatchYourRassilon.com/support. And there you'll find a link to our Patreon page, which you can get to just by going to Patreon.com/Watch-A-Thon. There you can donate a monthly amount to get all kinds of rewards, like videos of us watching the episodes, day-early episodes, and uncut video of the podcast records where you'll see me sneezing like 8 times. Also on our support page is a link to our Amazon wish list where you can sponsor an episode of the podcast by purchasing the corresponding serial on DVD for us. We'll mention you in the podcast and put your name on our Friends of Rassilon page. Speaking of, special thanks again to Matt Golden for sponsoring this episode.
Hey, thanks, Matt.
You can follow him on Tumblr at mgoldentumbles.tumblr.com. Tune in next time when we talk about The Claws of Axos. We'll have a new special guest, Brian Snape, will be joining us. He bought a microphone today. Keep calm and wrestle on.
Please.
Would you mind bringing that plug with you, please?
Oh, right.
And the coil.
Yep.